Welcome to QCast. Unfiltered, unbiased, and relevant.
I think last week we had a discussion over how people might be feeling returning back to the workforce.
Yeah. And it's interesting that a lot of those people have kind of gone back to the workplace today.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I found interesting is I just jumped off a phone call to a contact in Melbourne, and he was concerned about getting on the public transport or being stuck in road commute because more people will be travelling via roads. And he said one of the things is that only 20 people are allowed in the cabin at any one time. So it then got me thinking about everyone that's turned up in the hope of being one of the 20, where are they clustered?
Yeah, waiting to get into either the train carriage or through the bus door.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting thought that we went down, and I asked how he was feeling. He said, well, I won't be going anywhere, I'll be working from home.
Yeah. And as you know, I have a housemate who is in exactly the same situation and has gone into work about an hour and a half earlier than they needed to this morning, just to avoid that. And it's surprising that no one thought this was going to be a problem. A couple of weeks ago, there's no one in public transport in Sydney, and I had plenty of time. Now, if you get onto a train, it's a no dot, no spot. There's a green spot on the chair. But you know what? To get to that spot, you've got to go through the same door as everyone and walk the same corridor as everyone.
So let me ask you this, whose problem isn't? Because he said, a few weeks ago, nobody thought this would be a problem. Whose problem is this to actually solve? Is it the individual that needs to commute? Is it the public transport system? Is it the employers that are asking people to return back to place of employment? Is it the whole of society? Is it the government? Whose problem is this to solve? And what is the actual real problem that we are trying to solve?
Look, it's ultimately the individual's decision whether they choose to travel to their place of work, unless they have no choice. As in, they have to physically be somewhere like a nurse or a doctor or something. But it's interesting, it's a whole of society solution. So therefore, I wonder if that means it's a whole of society problem. Government has to solve it, federal, local, employers have to then solve it, individuals have to solve it. It's an interesting one.
And it's actually interesting because recently we've noticed that there has been great success in a lot of organisations across multiple industries, which means it's not an outlier, that people can actually improve their performance being working from home and not actually being in the co-locate collaborative environment. We can still collaborate in all different ways. Why are we in such a hurry as a society to get back out and get back into that connected workforce as opposed to the digitally connected workforce?
Yeah. So I'm as you know, I'm currently contracting in a large business in Australia, and I get to, there's probably 40 or 50,000 employees in this. So there's a lot of voices and opinions and things that I get to see and hear. And I have a theory around people being more productive working from home is because of the autonomy that they've been given. However, that autonomy comes at the price of the social interaction that you have walking to a meeting, at the water cooler, in the kitchen areas. And when I listen to opinions about whether they want to go back into the office or not, they go, if I could sort out my home office much better, I'm currently sat at the kitchen table, which isn't great. If I could solve that, I'd like to work from my home location more, but I really miss those social interactions. And I guess if you think just basic Maslow human, hierarchy of needs, a lot of that time with people is now missing. You might have some of your family in your home with you. You might have 2 or 4 or 6 people around you, but you're missing those hundreds of human interactions every single day.
Yeah, I think some people go to work to escape their home life and to have diversity, because I think humans naturally like diversity within their worlds. And I think sometimes we leave work because we like to go to our home life or our social life, whatever our home life is, whether it be sports or, our family, or going to the movies, or having dinner and drinks with friends after work. Home life, I guess, is not just going to home, it's everything outside of work. So do we then break down home life to recreational life and say, can people get that same fulfillment by the ease restrictions and enjoying that social connectedness, or is it only at work that we can actually find this?
Yeah. So I've been working from my home office the last 8 weeks. In fact, other than going into the premises for my client to get a computer laptop sorted, I actually have not met a single person from my client base in face-to-face the last 8 weeks. But you know what one of the highlights of my days is every single day is between 7 and 8, walking down to my coffee guy down the road, saying hello, asking how he's doing, and you just see the beam on his face when this customer comes back every single day. It's those moments that we used to have hundreds of times a day that we probably took for granted. And now we have very few of those moments, and we realize, we want them again.
Until we meet again, keep smiling, keep shining, keep connected.